My name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani. Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 49. We are learning right now. We are in the process of learning right now how to add and subtract algebraic expressions. In the first 20 days, we learned how to evaluate algebraic expressions, find the numerical values of the algebraic expressions. Right now we're learning how to add and subtract algebraic expressions, and after that we're going to move on to the new topic where we're going to learn how to multiply and divide algebraic expressions. Here is the question for today, day number 49. Day number 49. We are asked to subtract 4/5 xy squared minus 2/3 y cube from 2/3 xy squared minus 1/4 y cube. That's all. Well, first thing we have to realize is that when we are subtracting one quantity from another, for example, if someone tells us to subtract 9 from 11, if we are asked to subtract 9 from 11, then we know that 11, even though it appears last in the sentence, goes first. 11 goes on the top. We're subtracting 9 from 11. So the quantity that we are subtracting from has to go on the top. The same exact logic applies when we're dealing with algebraic expressions. Because this algebraic expression actually has a numerical value. We just don't know what it is because we are not told what x equals to and what y equals to. Had we been told what x equals to and what y equals to, we would have been able to figure out the numerical value of this expression. We would have had a numerical value of this expression, and we simply would have subtracted this top number from the bottom number. But since we do not have the values of the x and y's, we have to deal with the algebraic expressions the way it's stated. But it doesn't change the fact that the quantity that is being subtracted has to go on the bottom. So first we write down the quantity that we're subtracting from. The expression that we're subtracting from is this guy. 2/3 xy squared minus 1/4 y cube. And then the quantity that is being subtracted has to go on the bottom. 4/5 xy squared minus 2/3 y cube. That's the first part, that's the first step. The second step is that all the coefficient that appears in the bottom expression, they all have to be switched. All the sign of the coefficients, all the signs of the coefficients have to be switched. Positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive. And you will see in a second why as we do the work why that is. And now at this point all we have to do is add up the coefficient. Now we have to simply figure out 2/3 minus 4/5. Let's do it on the top. We don't need this anymore. So we're going to add up the coefficient of xy squared. Xy squared is positive 2/3. From the positive 2/3 we are subtracting positive 4/5. From the positive 2/3 we are subtracting positive 4/5. As you can see, since we are subtracting this negative and positive, this negative times positive becomes negative, which is what we're showing here. Which is the fact that we're showing here that this positive is going to become negative. Negative times positive is negative. Now let's do the work. We have a denominator of 3 here, a denominator of 5 there. The common denominator would be 15, the least common denominator that is. Otherwise you can have 15 billion if you want. But the tradition dictates that we do the least because that's the least amount of work. So the common denominator is 15. How do we convert this denominator of 3 into 15? By multiplying this fraction by 5/5. Multiply it by 5/5 and multiply this fraction by 3/3. Now we have a denominator of 15 both places. Common denominator is 15. And here we have 5 times 2, which is 10. And here we have a negative sign, but we have 4 times 3, which is 12. 10 minus 12 is negative 2/15. Negative 2/15 is the coefficient of xy squared. Negative 2/15. That's it. Now we have to do the same thing for the coefficient of y cubed. So let's do it then. I'm going to erase all of this now because I need the room to figure out this part here. We could do it at the bottom, but I prefer to keep it on the top. So that's it, we're done. Now we have negative 1/4, and from that we're going to subtract. What are we going to subtract? We're going to subtract negative 2/3. From negative 1/4 we're going to subtract negative 2/3. That's what we're told. Subtract negative 2/3 from a negative quarter. That's what we're doing. But what happens? As we do the work, we realize that this negative times negative becomes positive, which is what we're showing here. This negative turns into positive because of the fact that it is being subtracted. So negative times negative becomes positive. That's what we're showing here. Now we need again common denominator of 12. How do we convert this into 4 into 12? Multiply top and bottom by 3 of this fraction. How do we convert this denominator into 12? Multiply the top and the bottom by 4. But by multiplying top and the bottom of 2/3 by 4, we're basically multiplying 2/3 by 1, which doesn't change anything. So the common denominator is 12 now. 3 times 1 is 3, and we have a negative in front of it, so negative 3. And then we have negative times negative is positive, and we have 2 times and we're going to have 2 times 4, which is 8. So negative 3 and a positive 8 gives us positive 5, 12. And that's the coefficient of y cubed. Positive 5, 12. That's it. That is your answer. That's it. We are done. So that top part that you see is to figure out the coefficient of y cubed, negative 1/4 minus a negative 2/3. Negative 1/4 minus a negative 2/3 gives us positive 5, 12. That's it. That was the end of our lesson for today. Today was our penultimate day, second to the last day before we finish this topic. Penultimate was the word that I just used. It's already listed here. If you want to learn the word, in addition to the videos that you see in addition to the algebra videos that you're watching right now, I also have videos on geometry. If you want to learn geometry, you can watch those videos. And I also have videos on vocabularies. If you're going to sit in the near future for the SAT, GRE or GMAT or TOEFL, then having a good vocabulary is a big plus. And for that reason, I have put together vocabulary videos. And the word penultimate is something that we learn on day number 11. If you want to learn the word, just type in this tag that you see here, Keshwani Prep dash vocab instead of algebra, vocab. And if you were looking for geometry, you would have typed in geometry here, geometry day 11, vocab day 11, and you will learn the word penultimate, which simply means second to the last. Today is our second to the last, penultimate day of this topic, adding and subtracting algebraic expressions. Tomorrow is going to be our last day, and after that we're going to move on to the new topic where we'll begin to learn how to multiply and divide algebraic expressions. And that is going to give us the foundation for the algebra before we get into the nitty-gritty, the essence of algebra, where we do solve linear equations and where we start solving word problems. But we can't get to it until we have the foundation done, which is what we're doing right now. Enough said. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 50. Okay?